If you're anybody right now, you know that gamers everywhere can hardly contain themselves because in March, we are going to be gifted with what could be the greatest game of all time. Starring Tom Nook and his nephews, who I still don't think have any idea what's going on. Now, I don't know if you want to include like the side games like Happy Home Designer, Pocket Camp, or the other one, but in the main series, this will be the 5th installment. Animal Crossing and I go way back, but we don't go too far back because when the first one was finally released for America, I was still a stinky toddler who had cashews for brain cells. I eventually was gifted a GameCube when I was about 12 years old, and that was by far the only good thing that ever came out of being 12. I was blissfully unaware of the existence of Animal Crossing because all my time was devoted to a blue hedgehog who has no right to be in this video because not everything has to be about him. In fact, my devotion to this game was so severe that I probably should have gotten my brain looked at. But of course, I had to inevitably snap back into reality because the time in my life had arrived to where I had to start going to public high school. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, hold on. You're not 14 years old? Then why do you sound like that? Which, first of all, no. I'm not 14 years old, and I graduated high school. It's been some years now. And second, I don't know why I sound like that. I've been asking myself the same thing for a very long time. Slander to my preteen-esque voice aside, the thought of high school horrified me down to my core because I did not have a good time in school. At this point, I had upgraded from being picked on to being bullied. Basically, up to this point, I had been sticking my head so far into video games just to try and drown out the reality that people scared me. Like, real people scared me to the point where I thought I was going to pee my pants whenever I had to be face to face with one. Now, I'm not gonna act like I didn't have any friends because that was not true, and it was because of them that I didn't want to be homeschooled. I also didn't want to be in complete and total isolation, even though most of the time it sounded very tempting. So I decided to face my fears in hopes that the people who had caused me irreversible damage had realized that they had caused me irreversible damage and would stop, maybe? But that didn't happen. And for some reason, I don't know if it had anything to do with me being in high school now and expecting people to have matured.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
Really hit me in the gut differently that time, and I don't mean that, actually. No one ever hit me, thank goodness. It hit me in the brain gut. Don't know if that makes sense, but you get it. It's supposed to be symbolic. It made me very sad. I was so discouraged and so worn out to the point where I didn't even want to play games as an escape anymore. All I wanted to do was lay in bed all day and hydrate myself with my own tears. There were a lot of days where I missed school because I would wake up and I would be so afraid to go that I would just lock myself in the bathroom and let my stomach run its course. So on one of these lovely days that I was having, I was laying in bed, just scrolling through my phone, you know, really living the best life that I could be living. Till a good old Let's Play, or as the alpha gamers call them, LPs, crammed its way into my recommended. And that game was none other than, drumroll please, Animal Crossing New Leaf. Yay! I really should have sounded more enthusiastic about that. Anyway, good job YouTube algorithm, because you sure did pique my interest, and I was amazed by the absolute magic I was seeing on my screen. I was immediately enamored by these pixelated little animals on the screen of this dude's 3DS, and I was like, hey, I want those animals on my 3DS. But guess what? I did not have a 3DS. There was no 3DS for me. So after constantly hounding everybody in my house about how much I needed to have this, the holidays rolled around and I tore the wrapping paper off all my presents like a stupid baboon. And in all its glory, a 3DS was in front of my very eyes. And guess what came with it? It was a whole bunch of stupid instructions and a stupid manual that no one reads these things. After doing all that bogus 3DS stuff you have to do in order to get it to actually work, I pulled this elaborate prank that involved me telling my cousin 5 more minutes until his turn to play came, but it never did. It was everything that I had ever imagined it being, but yet it had been nothing like I had seen before. Now some of you, I can hear some of you now, you are angrily typing comments, such as, "You started with New Leaf? You'll never know the struggles we went through in the old games." And I'm sorry that I don't understand the troubles that all you elderly folk went through, but I was having the time of my young life. That holiday break was a bit of a healing point for me. I lived and I breathed Animal Crossing. I ate it for breakfast every morning, and that was something that I really needed. So I knew that the holiday break I was on was going by really fast, but I wasn't aware that I had lost concept of time completely. I already mentioned that I knew I was going to be excited for this game, and I knew that I wanted to have this game. But it turns out that I was way more invested than I had ever pictured. I was playing this game all day. Every single day of my break. And there was not one second where I was like, alright, yeah, I've had enough of this, I'm over it. I was really starting to get to know my villagers, and I couldn't talk to them directly, but it felt really good to have them as an outlet. Of course, the day that I had to go back to school, I wasn't excited because I don't know if anyone's actually ever excited to go back to school, and if you are, good for you. But over that short week and a half, I felt like I had done something so monumental for me and for my health. And it's not like I stopped playing it over winter break. I continued to play it for a very long time. To a lot of people, it seems super unrealistic to say that a game changed your life, especially in only a week and a half's worth of time. But even in that short amount of time, it feels like the negative weight that I had been feeling wasn't as heavy. New Leaf was a game that I played constantly. I played it throughout all of high school. And if it did so much for me in such a short amount of time, imagine what it did for me over the course of 4 years. Sometimes I feel kind of stupid saying this, but I really don't know who I would be today if I would have never played New Leaf. I was really stuck in my own head before I got in this game. When you're stuck in your own head, all you can think about is how miserable you are. You just want to crawl under your bed, and you never want to come out ever again. When you're like that, people think you're selfish, and they think that you are super absorbed in yourself, and that could not be further from the truth. It's weird to say, and I feel kinda dumb saying this, but the villagers in my game had allowed me to become closer to the people in my actual life. To this day, I still don't know how exactly to explain that. It's still so bizarre to me that one little game was able to make its way that deep into my mind in order to do that for me. Of course, it's not like I went back to school and people just stopped being mean to me all because I told them about this video game that made me so happy I didn't care what they said anymore, because I'm pretty sure if I would have said that, I would have made my situation a lot worse than it was. And it's way more complicated than I'm making it seem, but I kind of just realized that, you know, I have more important stuff to worry about than that. What I can tell you right now is I don't remember every single detail from 4 years of my life. It's just not possible. But what I do know is that through the course of those 4 years, and even up till today, Animal Crossing has, without a doubt, changed my life. If you watch this the whole way through, I can't even begin to express how much I appreciate it. I have tried to make this video countless times. I just could never get it to turn out the way that I wanted to. With New Horizons being released soon, it inspired me, and I was kind of able to finally get a grasp on how I wanted it to turn out, and I am very happy with this one. Unfortunately, I do not have a lot of time to spare. Ever. I'm always busy, I'm always running around, I'm always doing things, but I sat down very early, which I never do, and made this, and I'm just so happy that I did. This video means a lot to me, and it came right from the deepest pits of my heart, so I hope that you enjoyed it. Again, thank you for watching, and if you want to leave a like and subscribe and do all that other blah blah blah, that would be super cool. And I'm gonna stop now before I butcher the outro, because I